It's the later evening of Saturday, November 13th, 2021. I just woke up from my long nap early. You know, go to work in a couple hours. So I was like, well, I could try to force myself to sleep longer, but I just lay there. So I decided, get up and do stuff, I guess. But it is late. Well, it's dark, and surprisingly for a Saturday night, it is pretty quiet outside. Not much traffic. No yowling college students or disruptive noise from young people out on the street making noise, letting people know that they're alive, and making noise for the sake of making noise. Drunk and inebriated, as one does. But I never did. Sure, drunk and inebriated, but I kept quiet and I kept to myself. And mostly, just hurt myself silently as much as possible. Yeah. As though that's any better. I don't know. But definitely not loud, like some of these people. It's just crazy. And I think one of them, one of the loud ones, I think, just about, because I noticed for a couple weeks in a row, Fridays or Saturday nights or both, there was an awful lot of commotion just outside on the corners here, and I think there were like I think there was at least two guys, three maybe, but there's one individual in particular who almost seemed violently deranged with how loud he was being and the stuff he was, screaming, basically, almost at the top of his lungs. And he was kind of egged on by other people, encouraged even. And I don't know, it was getting pretty extreme. And I was actually a little bit worried, because I'd have to go outside to go to work. And it's like, well, I don't want to have an altercation or encounter. I don't want anybody to even see me, or like, I don't want, it's like, geez, I feel threatened. And yeah, so, but it seemed to have resolved itself, because after a few weeks of that, the one morning, I was like, huh, that's a little bit quieter than normal. And I go outside and there's ambulance and, police and stuff, and it's like, and there's some people standing around looking, like something's happened. And it's like wondering if something, and then from then it's been quiet. And that was a couple weeks ago. It's just stayed quiet. So I don't know what happened. I don't follow local news, and I don't really know anybody. So I just guess at local stuff. Yeah, probably that's not good. But anyway, so it's quiet, and I like it. So. I'm not in charge or responsible for everything and everyone that goes. It's like I can just witness and observe and take my notes and have my thoughts and live my life and go about my business and try to mind other people's business. Not that it is my business, but I mind it as far as like leave them alone and let them do whatever they're going to do, because they're going to do it anyway, regardless of whatever I have to think or say or believe about it. So, there's that. Speaking of which, here's the 9:30 in the evening emergency, as scheduled. Pick up the pace, guys. You're 5 seconds late. Maybe they'll pick up those 5 seconds tomorrow. But by tomorrow, it will have been too late. I jest, I joke, but it's all very serious. Except that it's not to be taken too seriously. But anyway, I don't really have anything to say. I'm just making use of my time. I don't kill time anymore. There's little enough time as it is. So I make use of the time however it is I can creatively think to use it. Or else, but I don't waste time either. It just doesn't get used as efficiently as one could. there are other things I'm sure that I could be doing, but I don't even know or have the energy or wherewithal or, comprehension to know. It's like, oh, this entire time I could have been doing this, but I just didn't know or have access to or understanding, accessibility, or a lot of, probably a lot of, it's like, I'm not really, I have accommodations that help me to survive and exist in this world, um, even as it is, even as I am. There are accommodations, and but mostly I don't know of them. Things that might help me, things that might make my life a little bit easier or tolerable. But mostly I don't know about them, and I don't know if I qualify or if I have access to them, because there's always going to be a waiting list for other people that need them more than I do. And I don't even know what I'm talking about, what services or whatever are available, because I don't investigate, because I live my life. I know how to live my life. The problems that I have are normal. They are my problems. They are normal to me. I know mostly what they are about and how to deal with them on a day-to-day basis, and they don't plague me like maybe they used to, or should, or ought to, or might seem. Because to an outsider's perspective, forget about it. It's like, but to me, it's like, well, that's every day. I deal with this every day. People might only see just a little bit. And I did have the thought, this is something to talk about. I did have the thought that, they talk about autistic behavior, and there's like stereotypes of how people are, autistic in, in media and film, or just the impression, just the stereotype, and that whole list of behaviors. It's usually negative, a lot of negative, mostly negative, or it's like pity and negative, yeah, and misunderstanding, and misinterpreting, and just, yeah. And I read something, this is months ago, but it was something about, when somebody says, well, he doesn't seem, or they don't seem autistic, or, it's because they're not exhibiting the classic signs or signals or tells. Well, it's because they're happy or content. So that, they're not having any sort of emotional outburst or shutdown, which are commonly associated with being autistic, and or like, I don't know, things like that, I guess. Or it's like, if I'm just calmly doing whatever it is I'm doing and left alone, then I'm fine to keep calmly doing whatever it is I'm doing and not really notice much going on. Unless it gets my attention. But, mostly people just leave me alone. So anyway, I don't know. I had more to say about that, but it'll come later. But just about how people don't think of me, since I'm a good example, or an example, is, when you see me and people think that, oh, he doesn't seem autistic. It's because I'm just doing whatever it is I do in the way I do it. And, I'm at a relative stability point, emotional. And it's like, as soon as things start happening that I am not comfortable with, I do not feel secure in my environment, or I do not like or understand, then, then my tells, I guess, start showing. Or if I just get excited. I've noticed that recently, just where I get just energetic and excited about stuff. And it's like I find I'm, stimming and motioning and talking a little bit faster and probably moving a little bit different. And letting myself to, trying not to. But I get some strange looks like, calm down, dude. So, anyway, I guess that's fun. I don't know. I don't like to get looked at funny. At least I don't. At least that's what I think it looks like. It looks like, oh, just kidding. You know, I feel like. So, I try not to let it bother me too much. And people that have been around, and it's like, and they can introduce new people to me. It's like, oh, that's just how he is, you know, sort of thing. It's like people that are it's good to be around people that are used to me being the way I am. So it's like it doesn't, you know, intimidate or scare or throw people off. Because, you know, people have to get to know me on their own rights. You know, give me the, you know, the ocular pat down. It's like, and then from day to day, it's like, and then they just, you know, eventually it's like, oh, okay, he's okay. Yeah, you know, each individual has to make their individual assessment of whether or not I'm okay, which is what I do, you know, of course, everybody does that. I don't know who anybody is, so it's like I have to, you know, get a feel for them or something to tell if they're safe to, and a lot of times it comes back no. It's like, I'll just leave that one alone. You know, it's like I have no purpose in interacting with them, and it's like, okay, I have enough people that I feel like I need to interact with or should interact with. And a lot of people, it's just like, I just don't, you know, if I've had to say hi and, you know, small talk, fake small talk with as many people as I come into contact with, it's like I don't have the attention or the energy to try to think of things to say. It's like, well, how do you talk to this person? Well, how do I talk to this person? You know, it's like, I need, you know, I prefer fewer people on a daily basis, and I will go out of my way to avoid people. It's like, I'll just go down a different way or take a different route, you know, just so I don't have to even think about it. It's like, well, I was going to go that way, but I know that person, so I'm going to go this way instead. Or, like, especially if it's a person I don't like and it's like, I'm going to take a wide berth, and like, because I don't want to I want to make sure if they change their location, there's even less chance, because I don't want to take a small diversion and then they change their path and then like intersect. So I will go far out of my way and feel good about it. It's like, yeah, that was the right decision. But even then, still, there's some times when it's like, still there's that, it's like, how did they, it's like, so, anyway. I try not to take myself too seriously, I know, but this is me we're talking about. Yeah. So, anyway, no one makes it this far into these videos, and no one's watching them, apparently, ever again. I guess it was just a curiosity associated with another channel. So, at least there hasn't been any activity in a week as far as views go, which is, you know, it's a good thing. It was making me a little bit weird about, you know, talking. Because if I think people are talking or people are watching, that makes me less likely to be feeling I can speak openly, and you know, I'll feel like, oh, I better not, you know, do anything, or, you know, I gotta look okay or be okay or sound okay, and I don't want to sound stupid, which I could, I just wouldn't know it anyway. But it's like that whole thing about, you know, it's like, I know that I'm awkward, but it's like I'm smart enough to know that I'm awkward, but I'm not smart enough to know how not to be that whole thing. So, and also that people give me too much credit, you know, and not enough credit. You know, I'm not nearly as smart as what people tend to think I am, or project onto me, or associate, or identify me with. But I'm not nearly as knowledgeable as what people give me credit for. It's like, I don't know these things. There's so much of life that I've not experienced. I have no, you know, idea about, and I'm being given, and it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know. You know, it's like, I've never been. I've never. it's not something to take pride in. No, I just don't talk about it because there's nothing to talk about. But I don't also just voluntarily just be like, you know, oh yeah, I've been sexually inactive for 20 years. You know, that doesn't come up in conversation very much. You know, because other people are like talking about, you know, different activities and things, and it's like I haven't been on a date in 20 years. You know, nothing's, you know, like group outing things, but nothing like an individual date without any sort of romantic inclinations. Not that I was aware of. So yeah, like 20 years. And that would probably explain a lot for a lot of people as far as like part of the reason why I kind of am the way I am. You know, that and the whole being autistic and, you know, a recovering alcoholic. You know, as soon as I got out, you know, I started my alcoholic drinking career when I was, you know, in my late teens, and found that I didn't really need a relationship or, you know, many social interactions from then on out, and then just all the way up to age of 37, just kept on drinking. And never formed any sort of partnership or companionship, or, you know, I was, you know, cutting people away. I wasn't adding to. So I was removing myself from life, not finding it or being a part of it or having a life. So, yeah. And then in recovery these past few years, it's like, yeah, I'm still no relationships, not even a date. Yeah, so. And I don't do like anything about like, you know, I don't understand that at all, about how people just romantically connect without a relationship or something like that. I don't know. But, so, I'm just, you know, I'm okay to be alone. I don't think I don't think I like it sometimes. And I do get lonely. But then you know, I just see how happy a lot of other people are with their, and it's like, well, that's part of it, I guess. It's not always going to be, you know, good or nurturing or supportive. But I'm guessing there's positives that people seem to tend to want to get together and form relationships. So I just kind of assume, well, I should probably give that a try. Now, I've done the whole living alone for a couple decades, you know, so just see how the other half lives. So, I don't know. It's an idea. I still haven't done anything. But, and I don't even know if there's been any progress, but I'm sure I'm getting a lot of practice of thought construction, of possibilities, and it's like, how willing, and like, what am I, like, I don't know. Like I say, I go these far into these videos, and it's like, no one's watching, so I can say whatever. So, it is interesting. Life is possible today, and it wasn't possible before. So, I think it's okay. So, anyway, Saturday night in Franklin, Indiana, November 13th. This is what I was doing. Yeah. So, it might not be fancy, and it might not be cool, and it might not be interesting, but this is what I was doing. So, I don't know what anybody else is doing, but this is what I was doing. So, and maybe I should be doing something else, but I don't know. But for tonight, this is what I'm doing. I had an okay time. So, there's that.